Michael Jackson's child molestation trial gets underway tomorrow after months of delays and false starts. The 12 jurors hearing the case include several fans of his music and actually a man who visited once Neverland as a child. Back now with us is our terrific legal panel, John Patrick Dolan, criminal defense attorney. On the phone, Kendall Coffey, a former U.S. attorney for the Southern District of Florida. Kendall, I'm going to put this up on the screen. Jury fact number 1. 8 jurors are women. 8 jurors are parents. 6 are mothers. 2 are fathers. Let's put that up on the screen. So, I mean, this is a very family-oriented jury. Will those parents, especially the mothers, will they be more willing to believe a child who says he was molested and maybe be disgusted with Jackson's, penchant for sleeping with little boys?
Well, everyone's going to be troubled by the penchant for sleeping with little boys, and certainly parents are, in general, good jurors for the prosecution, sort of like having a bank robber tried by a jury of bankers. But here's what I think the defense has to try to do with it. They're putting the mother on trial. And you already hear from people saying, hey, that mom, any parent that puts their kids over sleeping with Michael Jackson at Neverland Ranch ought to be convicted of something. So I think what they're going to try to do with the parent factor is hope that all the good parents on that jury are going to come down real hard on the bad parent that the defense says is that mom and decide that she's a schemer and that this is, as Michael Jackson would put it, all the big lie.
Yeah, I mean, John, look, as a defense attorney, maybe those 6 mothers are going to absolutely dislike the accuser's mother. I mean, she let her young son sleep with an accused child molester. Everybody in the state knew about the 93 accusation. And maybe this jury is actually bad for the prosecution.
Well, that plus remember, they're suggesting back in 1993 the mother put her kids up to lying in court. And if the parents believe that about the mother, they got a big problem in this case.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, Kendall, jury fact number 2. We do have this one. We're putting it up on the screen. No African Americans are on this jury. 1 African-American alternative juror, though there are 4 Hispanics, 1 Asian. Michael Jackson, Kendall, chose to live in this community, and, that videotape propaganda message he sent out just before jury selection, he's enthusing about how much he loves the people there. So if he's convicted, Kendall, I mean, he's not going to be able to make a claim of race as a reason, is he?
Not at all. I mean, back in April 2004, he proclaimed, I will always love this community from the bottom of my heart. He didn't attempt a venue change, and he knew then what we know now. It's 2% African Americans. I think Michael Jackson sees himself as sort of a local hero and a local institution, sort of the most famous citizen of Santa Barbara. What he may be underestimating is he's probably also seen as a local weirdo that a lot of people have worried about for years.
Yeah, no kidding. John, Jackson's father got into the act, as he always does, and he's probably hurting his son because he claimed, my son can't get a fair trial because, there's no blacks on this jury. Didn't the Supreme Court rule, Justice Powell, that a jury of your peers doesn't mean a jury of your race? Remember, Batson?
Yeah, and really, race is not an issue here. You might have noticed that the defense has said little to nothing about it because the jury here represents the population in the region. And I don't see the defense bringing up race as an issue as things move down the road, although 2 black jurors were peremptorily challenged by the prosecution. I don't think that's enough to prove a Wheeler motion, we call it in California, the federal case regarding race and discrimination. So I think it's not going to be an issue. I think it's going to be the facts in this case that will be determined by
John, let me stick with you for one quick one. You got to give me this in about 30 seconds because it's jury fact number 3. I found interesting. 3 jurors are cancer survivors. 1 juror has a relative with cancer. Does that, in a way, create a common bond with the accuser that may help him when he takes the witness stand?
It's certainly possible, but remember, this accuser, according to what we know at this point, was unconscious during the acts that are charged, at least as far as the molestation. So I don't know that that's necessarily going to be a big issue, but it might be.
All right, John Patrick Dolan out in Los Angeles, a defense attorney, and Kendall Coffey, former prosecutor who didn't get stuck in the elevator and picked up his phone. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
All right.